we are, another Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth. Jason Bristol, Jeremy Booth. Jeremy, I'm hesitant to bring up the World Series because I don't want Toronto fans to know this. I don't want Blue Jay fans to hear or learn what happened the night of Game 7 between you and I.
What happened?
Well, you texted me and you said, what did I say? Blue Jays in 7 as they were.
I believe I said Blue Jays in 7.
And then it all kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah, well, it's my fault. I know. Um, best World Series I've ever seen, by the way. It was ever. I mean, game 1,
80,
game
86, 86 Mets and Red Sox was pretty good.
That was dramatic with obviously how it turned, right? I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad series, but
That's true.
I look at the first pitch to the last. I mean, you got an 18 inning game in here. You got another 12 inning game when it was over. You got Yamamoto doing things that like never been done before. I mean, you have a
And
lot of
Ohtani.
stuff. Yeah, Ohtani. You've got the Blue Jays. You got Bichette on one leg. You've got guys coming in and out of the game. You've got Springer getting an oblique. You got Scherzer come. It was a heavyweight fight every single inning, and there wasn't a pitch that I felt like I couldn't watch the game. It was a great series. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers, my hometown, and a lot of the people that are with that organization are really true good friends over time. And congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, when you're a Blue Jays fan or a Blue Jays member of the Toronto Blue Jays as a player, you move an entire country.
Yep.
It's not too you can't say that about this. You move a city here, move an entire country up there. So congratulations to the Blue Jays. They needed it. The city needed it. The front office needed it. The players needed it. And I look forward to seeing what happens with them in the future.
It's funny how you just mentioned best World Series and that you've seen. MLB.com ranked every 7-game World Series. Huh. This is interesting. The lights.
You look like Take On Me from Aha. You need to leave it on.
Maybe the baseball gods don't want me to discuss this.
I don't know. I'd leave it.
All right. Well, you think I should leave it?
I think you'd leave it. I think it looks good.
Man, we go from blue to.
I mean, I could turn mine off and put the flashlight under my chin.
No, because then it'd be like the Conan O'Brien. It's the year 2000. All right, ranking every 7-game World Series. It's funny you bring this up because 5 days ago, MLB.com did something very similar. At number 5, they have the 2025 Dodgers over Blue Jays.
Okay.
At number 4, 2001 Diamondbacks over Yankees.
That was a good one. That was a very good one. Yeah.
Number 3, and I don't think we have any experience with this one. 1924 Senators over Giants. Justin Verlander wasn't pitching for them, was he?
No, he wasn't. But I'm curious how people in Baseball America, was it baseball MLB.com, MLB.com, 100 years later, have any recollection what that one was like besides a box score?
Yeah, well, you could get newspaper clippings and things like that. Same thing. At number 2, Twins Braves 1991.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And number 1, which I'm not surprised, is 1975 Reds over Red Sox.
Also a very good one. I still say first pitch to last pitch with the extra innings and the things that we saw with Yamamoto and the MVP winning on the road. This was a better one, but I get the arguments for all of them except 1924. I call foul on 1924 because it's 101 years ago. Whoever wrote that, and I haven't read it, but no disrespect, you have no business putting that in there. You don't know. You weren't there. The other ones you could talk about to a degree, but you don't know anything about 1924.
Joe Posnanski,
okay, Joe, you know nothing about 1924. Okay.
Interesting. The Mets Red Sox comes in at number 11 on the list. What's also interesting is number 8 on the list.
What's that?
2017 Astros over Dodgers. This series include 2 of the craziest contests in World Series history, games 2 and 5. It would have been higher on this list if game 7 had been more memorable. Well, it's certainly memorable here, but anyhow. Here's what he said about game 5. Obviously, the extra inning thriller in game 7 was an all-time classic, but 4 of the games were decided by 4 runs or more, robbing it of some drama. This series will forever be remembered by the Dodgers winning game 3 in 18 innings and Yamamoto winning 3 games, including the finale in relief on 0 days rest. I think you've got to put Shohei in there too. And then obviously the 2 home runs off the first 2 batters of the game for the Blue Jays coming back.
I don't know what the game five, that's game four was the 18 inning game when Freeman went deep, right? So game five, the way that I thought it might have been done, and they came, the Blue Jays came right out and just and hit him in the mouth. Now, I still like the gray. I still like the take on me. I do. I think it's very, very video-esque, especially if we're talking about 1924. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But no, look, no matter how you cut it, this is going to be a series for the ages. It's going to be remembered. There's moments people will pick out. It's one that people are going to smile about. And five is fine, four is fine. It's a matter of perspective, but it's pretty good. For me, it was the best one I saw.
Let us know what you think in the comments section below if you are indeed watching on YouTube. Also, some new information coming from the baseball world. I believe it was Chandler Rome who had it, that the Astros have put 5 players on outright waivers. Outfielders Chas McCormick, Kennedy Corona, Pedro León, left-hander John Rooney, and right-hander Luis Garcia. My first thing that I thought of was, man, it is going to be sad to not see Chas McCormick in the clubhouse anymore. And Luis Garcia is a guy that, I give him a lot of credit because he came here in he was this phenomena with the Rock the Baby, and I give him a lot of credit for learning the language. I always just enjoyed him. I thought he was one of these guys who, because of the big personalities in the clubhouse, he just was a good dude. He just seemed to be a good dude. And if I may, Pedro León also strikes me, Jeremy, in a sense that, was this a case of prospect malpractice with Pedro León? Prospect malpractice. Say something.
Do you remember when Pedro León, when we first talked about them signing Pedro León? Remember this?
Mm-hmm.
And you remember my reaction was? This guy was supposed to be the best thing ever. He's going to be. Remember what I said?
Signed for $4 million.
I said, yeah, okay. So I said, yeah, okay. Right. And then, oh, we got to make a position switch. And I said, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so, at the end of the day, you know what it turned out to be for Pedro León? Yeah, okay. That's what it is. And so the development system with the Astros for a long period of time was Basura. The scouting was not great. I mean, it's what it is, and they're seeing the
Basura.
yeah. Well, just trying to fit in. And so,
Any idea that Pedro León is going to come back here is, maybe 5 years from now as a minor league free agent, but right now it will be in his best interest to go somewhere else for sure.
Yeah, it's not, they have not done a good job with quite a bit. None of those guys surprised me as being on waivers or outright off the roster. It's not show friends, it's show business, and everybody's been on this side of it. So, I wish we wish you the best. Chas McCormick and Garcia and the guys that are lesser known. Leon is a washout. Pedro, I don't mean that to be disrespectful to him, but I didn't get it. And honestly, if you go back and look at Latin America, somebody who's in there quite a bit now and has been for a while, the largest bonuses they get usually are the ones that don't make it or don't have the impact. It's just the way it works. And we've got a couple of guys that we had down there recently who were very young that committed for huge money. Or so we've heard that's waiting for them later. But when you find out what that could be, that 9 million that Mancada got looks not great. That 9 million Rusney Castillo got years ago from the Red Sox doesn't look so great. And so Pedro León at $4 million is great, man. You got 4 million.
I
Yeah, okay.
remember, huh?
Yeah, okay.
I remember the two of us talking about it, and when he started doing the position changes, to me, that was the signal of that's when the alarm bells went off. Because in my mind, if you truly are an impact player, that you are one of the best prospects in the organization, in the best prospects in the organization, they don't typically see if you can play another position to add to your quote unquote versatility. So that's when the alarm bells went off for me.
Yeah,
And
it Jason, you nailed it. I don't understand some of the hype these guys are throwing out there. I don't want to spend too much time, we say in the industry, killing Pedro León. We don't kill Pedro León.
I actually think sometimes he's almost a victim of circumstance in some ways, that it wasn't all his fault. We know for a fact that the position change was very troublesome to him. Or this idea of moving to the infield and then playing a little outfield. I mean, we've said it. We've said it on this program.
I'm not saying a word because you're not missing a thing. Like you got it all. He is absolutely a victim of the Astros development. He's a victim of being held on too long. We've seen a lot of guys come through the Astros system in the last 7, 8 years that flamed out, didn't reach their ceiling, or weren't even moved for trade value when they had it, right? So just a wasted time in the Astros organization. This is another one. I think they're getting to the end of that. But he needs to move on and far away from here to find somewhere else he's going to go to be successful. Maybe it's going to be as a left fielder. I don't know. Maybe they'll make him catch, but whatever he does, he should just say, "Yeah, okay."
Well, I had to go, and I pulled this out. The
Oh,
baseball,
well,
what? Why are you laughing?
they don't get it right either. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just
Sorry,
my
sorry,
Baseball
JJ.
America
Sorry.
Prospect Handbook. And it talked about an explosive and tooled up outfielder with elite on base skills. He is both an exciting and frustrating player. While he has produced high walk rates as a professional, his bat to ball skills are well below average, leading to low batting averages and a fair amount of swing and miss.
Yeah, look, those guys in Baseball America. I don't know who wrote that. I understand that's a pretty fair write up. As far as what they did. Um, I've talked to
I'm
JJ
not
quite a
saying he was
bit.
going to be a superstar, but I just think that they really hindered or hurt his development by putting him somewhere that he obviously was not comfortable with, instead of letting him have some success and piling up some numbers. And then when it gets to a point where you're like, well, but I'm sorry, go
Jason,
out.
$4 million. He better be a dude.
Yeah,
Better be a
better be
guy.
a dude.
Better be a guy. So, that's a whiff. It's a whiff all the way around.
Do you think there'll be interest in Chas McCormick outside on the free agent market?
Um,
Or will it be a
some,
Nationals or a Marlins or a Twins, a team that perhaps is rebuilding?
I don't see him with the Nationals, not with Taboni and Pearson and those guys, Horowitz over there. I don't see that happening. It doesn't mean he's not a fit somewhere. He's what you call a gap guy. And what that means is that he's going to be a 4A guy at this point, that's a depth guy, comes to the big leagues and fills gaps to let younger players improve. He's not going to go play every day somewhere. He'll play every day a piece of time. He's probably not a roster guy. He's a minor league free agent that you bring in for an invite. And he's going to get that fame just out of the big leagues. But I think he lands with somebody where he can be depth. No one's going to count on him to play in the big leagues. The White Sox would be a fit because they don't know what they got. Anything they get really is an improvement. Teams like the Brewers, the Mariners, the Angels might be a fit for him. The Rangers would not be a fit. So you get an idea of where the clubs are. He's a gap guy. He's depth at AAA now. And to his credit for what he went through and how his road and how he was drafted and with the expectation of return for that pick where they got him, he's far exceeded it. He did a great job with his career. He's one of the best in the world. He will always be a big leaguer. He helped these guys win a World Series. There's not a whole lot you can say about Chas McCormick that's negative. It's just time. Sometimes it's just time. And when did he arrive in the big leagues? Was that 19 or 18? I want to say it was 18.
I think it was 2020, but
Nah, because I want to say he was in DC in that World Series as a backup. Am I missing? Am I wrong?
you're
Because
wrong.
2020 was pandemic.
I think he was 2020, but let me look.
2022, he was definitely in Philly because we saw him.
Yeah,
right?
well,
That's what
he
he
was
made the
one of the
catch.
listen, on the biggest stage of the World Series, he made some of I mean, he made one of the most incredible defensive plays in
So he
Astros
would so he
history.
would have arrived in 21 for sure because he
21 for sure.
21.
And that
Yeah.
year he hit 257 with 14 homers and 50 runs driven in.
All right. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. He's a 5-year big leaguer. That's a heck of a career. That's really is. It's a heck of a career. It's a
Listen, his
short-lived one.
162 game average is 247, 734 OPS, 18 homers, 64 runs driven in.
I mean, that's a second division outfielder. That's
A
somebody who,
war of 2.0.
yeah, it's a second division outfielder. It's a fifth outfielder or a fourth outfielder, depending how you construct your club on a major league club that wins a championship. And that's what he would have been here as a fifth outfielder. So he needs to go play somewhere else as well, try to reestablish some value. And Chicago, um, maybe Tampa Bay, although I don't see it because they're in it every year.
His
Marlins.
best season was 2023. We think of him in the World Series 2022, but he was actually better in 2023. He hit 273 with 22 homers, 70 runs driven in, and 19 stolen bases in 115 games, and
Yeah,
a
I remember
WAR
that.
of 3.4.
I remember that year because we were talking about how many bats he needed to get the next year, right? I remember that one. So
He
I'm,
just turned 30, by the way.
yeah, I mean, he's right in the middle of his prime, which is concerning, but it's also encouraging. So
Let me rephrase that. Turned 30 back in April. Sorry.
he'll end up in Minnesota. He'll end up in Chicago. He'll end up in Miami, um, you know,
Baltimore?
Colorado.
Baltimore?
But maybe. I think they got to win, but the other place I just mentioned don't have to win. So at least not right now. There's not expectations to do that. So I think he ends up one of those places.
Also, quickly, there is some reporting that the Astros have found a new hitting coach, Victor Rodriguez, who's had been with the Padres. Do you know Victor? Have you ever spoken to him? I know that he
Um,
has Puerto Rico ties, and certainly that would make sense with Joe. I imagine that they've crossed paths a few times. Um, do you have any experience with him?
Very little, very little. But the thing about Victor is that they don't swing and miss over there. And so he's going to come here and he's going to work on hard contact and line drives and not trying to drive the base. But you're going to play a different game, I think, with him as the hitting coach. That's more about efficient, move the runner and manufacture runs. And why would you
But
do
can they
that?
do that with the personnel they have?
Well, you can do that with the personnel you have, but why would you do that? You would do that if you realize that hitting Jordan Alvarez second and trying to score one run a night to win is a bad idea. Congratulations, Astros. Took you 2 years, but you figured it out. So what you do is you cleared out all the people that wanted to do that. And I'm not throwing Cintron under the bus when I say that, Alex. I'm saying, you cleared out the philosophy. You then brought some people back in that can help that. And you're going to go find guys that can hit behind runners, execute hit and runs, put to use the tools and skills you have on the field, and try to, pick up 3 or 4 a night that way. Because if you do that and you pick up, let's say you do that style of baseball, and you pick up 2 runs a night, two that way, and you organically score another two from power extra base hits, and then every now and then you pop another two from just going ahead and playing a complete game, you're going to win a lot of baseball games. What that does is it keeps you in the ball game night in, night out. It doesn't make it an ambush situation. You will guarantee seed Alvarez. And yes, I know I just said guarantee, drop in the order and find more ways to construct guys to move the lineup on and have run producers produce runs instead of table set. So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a little bit shift in policy or in philosophy, and you're going to see how they go about their business. Better bats.
Here's what I remember about Victor Rodriguez. He was a classic 4A guy who just hit, but he didn't really have big time power for the corner infield spots. And
Mhm.
that certainly held him back. But listen, in 1981, when he played for Charlotte in the Orioles system, of course, they had another hot shot corner, shortstop, third baseman type prospect along the way in Cal Ripken. But
He was
in
okay.
1981, at the age of 19, he hits 306 with 9 homers and 65 RBI at the age of 19 in Double A. So he was about 4 years younger than the average player in that league. And then he gets to Rochester the next year and splits time with Charlotte and Rochester. But again, he basically essentially levels out in AAA and puts up numbers in the Pacific Coast League. I remember him in the Twins organization, but maybe like a Sean Burrows or a Will Wagner type guy hitting wise.
Yeah, I mean,
Listen, I'm getting way inside minor league baseball but that's just what I remember of Victor Rodriguez.
the calling card is going to be good at bats, score runs, move the lineup, manufacture, and set up the big swing. Not take the big swing, set up the big swing. So pressure on the base paths, don't swing and miss. Pressure on the defense, pressure. Hard contact, line drive, swing it and hit it out of the ballpark. It's
All right.
typical baseball.
All right. I mean, we'll see if they can do it. It's one thing to
Sounds good.
say it, one thing to preach it.
Sounds like a plan to me. I mean, it was much better than watching the one run a night with guys hitting all over the place in 167 lineups, 162 games. That was an uncle.
Is that possible? 167
I mean, it feels like it. Maybe they went up to switch in the middle of the game. Somebody got tossed. I don't know. Uncle. Okay. It was not a good look, and I'm glad to see some stability coming to the Astros club next year because I don't want to watch that again. I'm just going to say it. I don't want to watch that again. If you are a baseball anything, you're a fan, you're inside the game, you're a purist, you're a forward thinker, you're a video game player. You don't want to watch that. That was awful. That was awful. Like it was just not fun. Dana, do you hear me? That was bad to watch. Okay? Awful. And it wasn't, it's not, I'm not blaming you. I know your buck stops with you. Good for you, buddy. I get it. No. Come on.
No. All right. On that note, everybody, let's wrap up this episode of Extra Bases. We will see you next week as well, Jeremy, as well as probably some additional content that we're working on. So
yeah,
we will, next week.
Yeah. Next week. I'm around.
All right, everybody. Until then, he's Jeremy. I'm Jason. Thanks for watching another Extra Bases. As always, leave your questions, your comments, and everything else below, and we'll get to them on a future episode. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.